Hey yo, Sea King Fight News. Eddie Hearn bashes Deontay Wilder and says, you know what? I can't trust what he has to say. I'm not gonna fall for his tricks when it comes to wanting to fight Anthony Joshua. For real? You know it's Sea King Fight News, man. We got more on this. Alright, so shout out the boxing scene. Eddie Hearn to Wilder. Go fight Fury. Joshua not falling for the trap. Eddie Hearn, promoter of Anthony Joshua, says his fighter will not fall into the trap words of Deontay Wilder. As we all know, Anthony Joshua was stopped inside of 7 rounds. Or in the 7th round. Against Andy Ruiz in what was a devastating performance by Andy Ruiz. Huge upset that basically shocked the world. And Anthony Joshua, simply put, could not handle the pressure of Andy Ruiz. Joshua admits that when he suffered a stoppage loss to Ruiz, he was already looking ahead to a potential unification with Wilder. And this is what Eddie Hearn had to say in response of Deontay Wilder basically coming out recently on the Brother 7/8's channel saying, you know what? He hopes Tyson Fury will just step aside and let him become undisputed and basically not push for the rematch because he actually believes that Tyson Fury doesn't really want the rematch. And this is what Eddie Hearn had to say. Let me tell you about Deontay Wilder. And actually right now there's no point in us talking about Deontay Wilder because the focus is Andy Ruiz. Right now the position we had was a position, in my opinion, of dominance in the division no longer exists. So we can't be calling out Wilder or this or that. The focus is Ruiz, but isn't it interesting that when on fight week of Joshua versus Ruiz, at the end of May, Deontay Wilder announced that he was fighting Luis Ortiz on Joshua Fight Week. And if I remember correctly, it was literally days before Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz. Deontay Wilder decided to put out there that he'll be fighting Luis Ortiz in November. Yet, Eddie Hearn goes on to say, we're in the beginning of September, there's no fight, there's no venue, there's no date. He hasn't talked about Anthony Joshua probably since that moment. Joshua Ruiz 2 Media Week, what happens? Wilder pops up and says, oh, I want to fight Anthony Joshua and unify instead of Tyson Fury. Well, no. What he actually said was he wanted to fight Andy Ruiz and unify. That's what he said. Why didn't you want to do it when Joshua had the belts? Well, Eddie. Oh, man. Eddie Hearn. Didn't Wilder agree to take $15 million in 2018? He did. But then again, he also offered AJ $50 million to come and make a fight happen, didn't he? Now, all of that aside, Eddie Hearn brings up a good point. All of that aside, Eddie Hearn actually brings up a good point. Because in the midst of Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz, likely Joshua, if he were to be en route for a victory, would have called out Wilder had he not announced his plans. Right? Oddly enough, the plans, in actuality, were about to be shaken up anyways, as Anthony Joshua could not defeat Andy Ruiz. But for nearly 2 years, every question going into an AJ fight was, when are you going to fight Wilder? Oh, Ruiz, don't worry about Ruiz. When's the Wilder fight? He fell into that trap before. We're not going to fall into that trap again. Forget Deontay Wilder. Let him go and box Tyson Fury. The biggest fight in the heavyweight division is Joshua Ruiz. That's the focus. All right, now if I'm Eddie Hearn, Do I agree with this notion that, you know, the focus is certainly not Deontay Wilder? Yeah, I get where he's coming from. You know, at the end of the day, AJ needs to bounce back. And he shouldn't even be thinking about Deontay Wilder, right? Deontay Wilder is obviously looking intently like a fucking eagle, like a hawk. Because, you know, he's really on scouting right now. And Deontay Wilder knows if Andy Ruiz can come out of Saudi Arabia with those belts, then he doesn't even need Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is in the background somewhere fighting Otto Wallin, right? He's in the background somewhere fighting the next Euro bum heavyweight that we haven't heard of. That's where Tyson Fury is. And that's what I'm talking about, man. The real fight to be made is undisputed. It always has been undisputed. It's just a shame that this guy, this big dummy, had to take an L before he really, before making a Deontay Wilder fight. Both of these guys, big dummies, for not being able to make the Wilder fight when they were clear A-side in 2018. And Wilder definitely had some issues with his ego and could not go back to the negotiating table to try and make the fight in early 2019, right? They were trying to make the fight for Wembley in May. Didn't happen, right? He said, you know what? Fuck all this. I'm gonna fight my mandatory. That's what happened. And he said, you know what? We can do it in 2020. Well, 2020 is right around the corner. And Anthony Joshua has one chance left to try and bring it all back together. But the focus right now is Andy Ruiz, as it should be. Deontay Wilder needs to worry about Luis Ortiz if that fight's happening. Because, you know, I believe they haven't announced the date. They haven't announced the venue. They've just put up some posters. I believe there's some marketing material around Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder, but maybe there's something going on behind the scenes, because, to be honest, that fight is not a pay-per-view fight. What is it doing on pay-per-view? Luis Ortiz has never sold a pay-per-view. Maybe this will be his first time. That's great. They got to pay him big money because he turned down an Anthony Joshua fight. Let's not forget. It was Luis Ortiz that backed out of an AJ negotiation situation where he could have been fighting. He could have been fighting Anthony Joshua in New York in what would have been a highly anticipated fight. And I got to reiterate that because guess who admitted it was their fault? Jay Jimenez, Luis Ortiz's manager. So, you know, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's King Fight News. What do you think about Eddie Hearn's thoughts? Saying he ain't gonna fall for the trap of Deontay Wilder. And they understand that the fight is far from being made. And the focus should be solely on Andy Ruiz, not nobody else. And that's just what it is, man. It's King Fight News, man. Let me know what you guys think. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Hit me up. Any questions, comments, catch the live streams. We gonna do one. We gonna do one tonight. And y'all know what it is, man. King Fight News. Peace. And we gone, man. And we gone. But you know what? Last minute predictions. What do you guys think goes down in Saudi Arabia when Anthony Joshua squares off against Andy Ruiz? Let me know. What's your prediction? Comments below. And that's all we got. King Fight News. Peace.